Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Greetings. Nice to be speaking with you again. The purpose of this presentation, this video, is to do a deep dive into my most recent song, which is Real Estate. So hopefully you got the chance to listen to it. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out. It's where I am trying to encourage people to consider real estate investing. There's a lot of benefits associated with it. I have those listed out in the song, but the purpose of this video is to do a line by line explanation just so that you can understand what I was meaning about every single verse in the song. All right. So I'm going to do this from here on out just to kind of keep it ever so clear and there's no misunderstandings, anything like that. So line by line, I'll just kind of go through it and we'll kick that off now. So let me fire it up. Sorry, this is a longer intro than most of the other ones, so let me fast forward this here. I don't mean to brag. I just believe in myself and I motivate people to pop. I do the moves, I spend a C note every time I walk in that hardwood shop. Define design. I make aesthetics, you won't regret it. They say that it's hot. I'm getting bags and right in the middle of quarantine, made a million on that dot. Woof. All right. So the first intro verse. All right. I don't mean to brag. I just believe in myself and I motivate people to pop. I do demos. I spend a C note every time I walk in the hardware shop. Ah, that's for you who didn't think I actually was the one rapping. Yeah, it's me. Okay, what does that mean? That means I have found that I really enjoy real estate, and it's not bragging, but it's something I'm just so excited about. I'm so passionate about it, almost to the point where I'm constantly trying to motivate people to get in, right, to pop. So I do demos, right? We typically buy properties that are in need of some uplifting, right? Renovations, and the reference to I spend a C note every time I walk in the hardware shop. I mean, if you're a real estate investor, you know how this goes, right? You go in Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's and you're looking for one thing, and you know that one thing's like $6. But as you're going through the aisles, you're like, oh wow, look at that tile, look at that paint. Ooh, look at this new power tool. And before you know it, when you've got some property, you just find yourself buying more stuff just because you know you're gonna need it. So I think my most recent trip to Menards, I went there for two outlet covers, which cost 29 cents, and I left spending like $40. Yeah, it just happens, right? So that's the thing, right? It's not a dig at spending money. You got to spend money to make money, but it's just a reflection on every time you go in the hardware shop, you find yourself spending more. But it's an awesome ROI. So kind of work with me here. Define design that refers to kind of making the aesthetics improve at the property. And the tenants will really appreciate that. And they're willing to pay a higher premium, a larger rent, if it looks good, if it feels good, if you've got a nice vibe with neutral colors and a nice ambiance, it's really inviting. So that's why I kind of make that reference there. All right, let's move on. Real estate plans, you never run out of demand. The haters will tell you to stop. Man with a plan, I told them just follow my lead. Up to the top. No. All right, I'll stop right there. Real estate plans, you never run out of demand. Let's be honest. People will always need a place to live. It is one of those certainties in life. Like there will always be demand for real estate. Yes, people will eventually decide that they want to buy their own home. But in America, there is a large percentage of people that will never own a home, either by choice or by circumstance. And it's that market that will always produce demand for you. So if ever you're kind of clouding your judgment with this thought of, well, what if no one needs to rent from it? There will always be someone that needs a place to rent. It's just a matter of supply and demand. Um, I say that because a lot of people will push back on the narrative and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You should stop. It's risky. It's a bad investment. Look, I sit kneecap to kneecap with millionaires every day. 87% of them own real estate. It's a tried and true thing, right? So yes, people will tell you to stop. They'll tell you it's a bad idea, and I refer to myself as the man with the plan. And I say it's the man with the plan not because I'm some psychic or guru or oracle or anything like that. It's just that I know what I know, and I've actually done it myself, and I've seen the benefits that come from it. So I can stand on that truth.
having actually done it myself. I'm not just virtue signaling with things that I've heard or kind of seen. No, I've actually done it. I actually bought properties, rented it out, have a ton of tenants. And it's these things that I really just want to share with the world. So I tell people to kind of follow the lead, my lead, and what that means is, right, there are best practices that are kind of shared in the marketplace, like leading practices where if you follow the guidelines in terms of real estate investing, you can sidestep a lot of the hurdles that plague a lot of new investors, right? Things like getting a nice lease put together, a lease agreement, one that calls out things like repairs and maintenance and timeliness and paying late for rent or out clauses, exit interviews, right? All those stipulations that should be in a natural lease. A lot of people will just kind of wing it and make their own up in Microsoft Word or borrow one from Google, right? That's just not the way to do it, right? You're talking about a six-figure investment, sometimes seven figures, right? Where you have strangers moving into your investment and they're going to live there, they're going to thrive there. It makes sense to have a really strong lease in place. So that's just one example, right? Follow my lead, and soon enough, you'll be at the top. The way real estate works is, you bite slow, chew fast, and before you know it, you have a cash generating vehicle that will be a part of your plan and your estate forever. Right? That's the beauty that I really like about it. All right, let's keep going.
No turnkey, sweat equity. If I see it, I want it, I cop. Shout out BP. I got connections in pockets, I get the lead before they drop.
Love that line. Okay. No turnkey, sweat equity. If I see it, I want it, I cop. Shout out BP. I got connections in pockets, I get the leads before they drop. Okay, no turnkey. Personally, I find that turnkey properties are way too expensive. If you don't know what turnkey means, do a quick Google search. Basically, it just means, everything's perfect. Everything's just like ready to go from the jump. There's nothing wrong with that if you plan on living there, but the purpose of this song is around real estate investing, so renting it out to someone else. If you buy something that's already ready to be rented out, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay on average 20 to 30% more than the natural fair market value of the property. So I don't like that, right? There's no margin for me. Instead, I prefer sweat equity. I want to buy something with some cat piss in the corner. I want it to have ugly colored walls, wallpaper, appliances from the 1970s. The roof might have some issues. I want to hear, rattling. I want the water heater not to work. All those things are actually attractive to me because they offer me the opportunity of sweat equity, which means I come in, I buy it for a lower cost. I come in and fix it, right? I get everything looking how I want it to, and now I can demand a higher rent, and it has a higher market value. That's what sweat equity refers to. If I see it, I want it, I cop. So when I find things like that that meet my criteria, I don't have any other conversations. I want it. I go out and I buy it. And then the shout out to BP. That is a site called Bigger Pockets. It was created by these two real estate investors. They offer a lot of free information. They have a free license that you can kind of sign up for, and then you get access to all the forums and the discussions and their free courses. It's a really good place. It's called Bigger Pockets, and that's what BP is for. I got connections in pockets. Get it? Bigger Pockets. And you can get the leads before they drop. Essentially, what that means is because it's a network of like minded real estate investors, most people in the forum are willing to share and exchange different ideas and properties and recommendations. So I've actually found a few people on there that are looking to do syndication deals and partner on deals, and there's wholesaling contracts. So it's just a good place to kind of learn fast because there's a lot of people doing pretty much what you're trying to do. All right, let's keep it moving.
Where do I start? What are y'all come on charts? Find a good place with some heart. Check the zip code. If it is versus a Joe. Not a good start.
Let's stop there. Where do you start? You got to start with your income. Oftentimes, you'll need to finance the acquisition of a real estate investment. And if you don't have income, the bank's not going to lend you money. So start with that. Do you have enough income to qualify for a investment loan? If you do, great. Next step, find a place with some heart, right? An opportunity to actually add some value. That's what I mean by that. Check the zip code. Is it a good place, right? Would you want to live there? Would you want to rent a property in that zip code, on that street, in that neighborhood? If so, great. You found a great place. But if you live in one zip code and you want to rent out another one that you wouldn't want to live at, it's not a good start, right? So the concept behind that is to find something that you yourself could see yourself living in. If you do that, you're likely going to find high grade tenants that will kind of respect the property, add value to it, and you'll appreciate it a lot more. Okay, let's keep it moving.
You wouldn't believe me. I just been doing it easy. Tenants they love me, they friendly, make me feel guilty for all this rent I'm receiving. Give them the white glove treatment.
All right. You wouldn't believe me. I just been doing it easy. Tenants, they love me, they friendly, make me feel guilty for all this rent I'm receiving. Give them the white glove treatment. How about some reasons? Okay. So what does that mean? What are you saying, Rob? Jeez. Um, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this is such a cool avenue, right? Like you're giving people the ability to create a home, a safe, warm environment that they can, love and appreciate. And in exchange for that, they are going to give you cash every single month for the privilege of occupying that property. That's awesome, right? And then if you do it right, like if you really do this whole landlord thing right, you will eventually become liked and appreciated by your tenants. Okay, what does that look like? Maybe dropping by with, Christmas cookies and Thanksgiving treats and, remembering their kids' birthdays and driving by just to check on them, sending text messages alerting them that, hey, the weather's going to be bad pretty soon. Maybe bring the car into the garage. Hey, how's the lawn looking? Is there anything you need? Things like that, you can forge a nice, healthy relationship with your tenants. And then if something goes sideways, they'll be much more inclined to work with you as opposed to like seeing you as a threat, right? So, tenants, they can love you, they can be friendly. It doesn't have to be this like slumlord relationship where it's like, landlord, tenant. It happens from time to time, but by and large, there are things you can do to create harmonious relationships. All right. Makes me feel guilty for all this rent I'm receiving. There's a small piece of me that's like, wow, that like I'm not really doing a lot to get this. So my response agent says, make their experience even better, right? So because you're getting all this rent every month, like boom, 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 like hitting every first of the month, give them the white glove treatment. Go above and beyond. Show up, just to drop by with a 6 pack of beer and say, hey, it's been one heck of a 2020, right? Here's something to maybe take the load off. Yeah, I got this bottle. I bought myself one. Thought you might want one as well. Here, I'll see you. Have a great day. Something like that. So that's what I mean by the white glove treatment. It really pays dividends in the long run. All right, let's keep it moving.
For some reasons, told you to follow my secrets. Door to my office is keyless. Getting paid to turn on the lights, be on my way. You really can beat it, feel like a champ. I got portfolio statements that bring me incredible feelings. Look at my family, daughter not even here yet, but our college is already seasoned.
How about some reasons? Told you to follow my secrets. Door to my office is keyless. Getting paid to turn on the lights, be on my way. You really can't beat it. This can and should be armchair investing. When you do it right, when you do your due diligence upon the acquisition of the property, you get in the right deal with sweat equity, nice multiples, nice margin built into it, and you do the due diligence of making sure that the property is sustainable and ready to support a tenant moving in, right? Appliances, furniture, fixture, codes, licenses, previous violations, permits, everything's up to date, everything's good, everything's right. You tested the water heater, the pressure, all that. Boop, 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 through the checklist. What do you have to worry about? A light bulb going out? Okay. 49 cents at Menards. Right? Carpet spill? It's the responsibility of the tenant. Right? Like all these things can make it easy when you do it right. So getting paid to turn on the lights and be on your way, you really can't beat it. That's when tenants move in. It's one of my favorite times when you're showing the property and they're looking around like, oh, it's really nice, really nice. And they, fill out the application, you run it and it looks great. That's pretty much it. You can't beat it, right? The reference to the incredible feelings and for my daughter that's not here yet. So this is a nice segue. So one of my biggest reasons for doing this is to leave my kids assets, and specifically asset producing assets. So when me and my wife, Melissa, pass away, we want to leave our kids with something. And one of the greatest things we can leave is something that produces income to, maybe offer them the opportunity to have leverage, peace, stability, what have you. And real estate is one of the best things to do because, two parts to this, right? So I'll start with the last one. When we pass, right, that asset can be sold, it can continue to be rented, or they can leverage it to buy more real estate. Those are all options that will be expended to our children. Now, before that time comes, hopefully, right, God willing, um, that real estate, that the one that we're talking about right now, can also be a funnel to drive their college tuition. And hear me out on this, right? So it's going to be a paid for piece of real estate. It's actively being rented out. I'll throw some fake numbers out there. Okay, let's say it's doing $2,000 a month net. Okay, paid for. So every month, our daughter will have access to $2,000 per month, 24,000 per year. That can be used to pay down college tuition, right? Or, maybe they don't want to take the college route. They want to start a business, okay? You can use that $2,000 as working capital in the business. Or, maybe they say, we don't want to start a business. We don't want to go to college. We want to buy a business, right? We want to buy a, I don't know, Culver's ice cream, right? Cool, right? Sell the property, use that, $300,000 net of closing costs, and go out and buy your business. All those different options are presented when you have an asset in place. In the absence of an asset, none of these options exist. Okay, you're forced to get a student loan, get a business loan, get finance. And there's nothing wrong with that, but if you can avoid having to ask someone for money, why not? Use your own. Okay, let's keep it moving. I'm doing too much talking here. I'm going to bring it home with this one.
Here's my proof. Think of the income that's up under your roof. Here is the truth. This is freedom to live and breathe. Yes, for you, brass tacks. When it comes to Sammy, he won't even get a penny. It's free. Shout out to MLK. Hey, let freedom ring.
Oh, all right, here we go. There's a lot to unpack there. The proof is that there's income under your roof. And what this creates is freedom. Freedom. Like, financial freedom, peace, like not worrying, not having scarcity mindset. It's freedom to live and breathe and be the best version of you. There are so many people trapped in jobs that they don't like, or they have golden handcuffs because the job pays so much and they don't feel comfortable leaving. I get it. Like, that's totally my testimony. But this is an opportunity for freedom. Yes, it's going to sting for a little bit. Yes, it costs money. It's scary, right? But it's an opportunity for freedom. When it comes to Sammy, he won't even get a penny. That refers to Uncle Sam, the IRS, federal and state income taxes. When you acquire real estate and you do it right, you don't have to worry about tax. Stay tuned. I'll drop a whole nother video that explains exactly why, but income tax, you ain't got to worry about that. Not with real estate. The government is literally willing to forego all the taxes if you get into real estate. They've made that clear. They're like, oh, you do real estate? Okay, you're good. It's kind of like slipping into the bar without having to pay the cover charge, right? Like, there's some people that can do it. Those are real estate investors. Okay.
I ain't talking about paying no taxes. I'm trying to play in my mattress with my wife. Yeah, that's right. In my house, you heard it right. Clap, clap, hey, hey, now go get you some property. Rehab, rent, reinvest, the rest.
What is that about, Rob? Well, I've solidified the point. I'm not talking about paying any taxes. You won't have to deal with that if you get into real estate. And if you do it right, that's an important disclosure. So some people may be thinking, no, I have real estate and I have to pay taxes. That would illuminate the fact that you're probably not doing it right, which is totally fine. It's not your fault. No one has showed you the proper way to do it. Totally cool. If that's you, hit me up. I will show you the way. But what would I rather be doing instead of paying taxes? Well, hanging out with my wife, being adults, I don't know, traveling, spending time with my kids. That's what I want to do, right? In my house, right? Not out hustling, right? That's the whole purpose of that. So clap, clap, hey, hey, go get you some property, right? If you've got access to disposable cash and you have it, you could do this. Like, why not? What are you waiting for? The rates are so low, the inventory is quite consistent, and yes, it's going to be a little difficult, but it's worth it in the long run, right? All right, so rehab, rent, reinvest, the rest. Those are just the steps, right? The steps to asset and make it marketable. And then I wrap it up with this last little riff.
Rehab, rent, reinvest, the rest. Rehab, rent, reinvest, the rest. Real estate, mortgage rate, watch it appreciate. Are you real estate?
bringing it on home. Real estate. The mortgage will be straight if you have a tenant occupying the property. That rent will pay off the mortgage. Watch it appreciate. Naturally, real estate, when you find the right property, will appreciate in value. And then the last question, are you real or are you fake? Do you want real estate or do you want fake estate? Fake estate is, in my world, those are assets that don't produce any assets. They don't produce income. In fact, they typically decline in value, right? So that's my breakdown. But let me wrap it up with a couple important things, right? I want to share with you that this is my favorite way to build wealth. These are my top 4 reasons why. And hopefully it came through in the song. It's a passive income generating activity. It's tax advantageous. It's a hedge against inflation because, well, let me explain that part. You can change the rent in line with the market. So if the market's going up, you can demand maybe $1,800 per month instead of $1,600 per month. You can do that. So it's a hedge against inflation and it gives you leverage. So over time, you acquire, let's say, you got 6 properties, 2 of them get paid off. Now you can go into the bank and get a much bigger line of credit because you've shown that you know how to leverage debt. Okay, so those are the pros, right? Those are all the pros. There's also cons, and let me be clear with those. Number one, it's hard work. There's easy parts to it, but there are difficult aspects. You got to find deals. It takes a long time. You got to research. You got to ask people. You got to look around. Um, True story. I've been looking for a while, me and my wife, and it's just really difficult to find great deals. You have to really research them. It's more expensive than other investments, right? You could throw like $5 into the stock market using a brokerage account. You can't find a place for $5. Sorry, not going to tell you otherwise. So you just can't. So it's more expensive. It's highly illiquid. Said better, you have to really surrender access to that cash. Once you put a down payment down and you get the property, um, that's it, right? Unless you sell the place, right? That cash is tied up, as they say. It's super high transaction cost. I couldn't be even any more clear, right? A lot of people think, oh no, it's probably like 1%, 2%. No, no, it's a lot. There's transfer taxes, there's sales transactions, there's legal fees, there's title fees, there's surety fees, there's permits, and a lot of different fees get etched into that. So the closing costs really get up there when you buy and sell a property. When you sell a property, you got to pay 2 versions of commission, right? The seller side and the buyer side. So it's high transaction cost. That's one of the cons. And then the final con, as I'm kind of beating this down, but I want to be really clear and transparent with everyone listening because I don't want to give anybody any useless hope or kind of lead them astray. This is the super truth, okay? The last thing is that appreciation is not guaranteed. If you've been living for a while, you remember 2008, 2012, you could probably go back to 1994. It doesn't always go up, right? It does a majority of the time, but sometimes it goes down. So appreciation is not guaranteed. So it kind of goes back to one of my earlier points, which is check the zip code. If it is broke as a joke, not a good start. Do your homework. Would you want to live in that neighborhood? Right? And that's a good way for you to kind of sidestep the appreciation versus depreciation. All right, so these are all of my deep dives into this song. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know this is a pretty long video, but I wanted to give you all the insight and all the kind of creative nuances that were happening behind the scenes and in the subtext of the lyrics. So until next time, be well, health is wealth. Love y'all. If you have some ideas for future topics, please send them my way. I'd love to kind of do a deep dive and see what I can create for you. All right, cheers.